Osteen. I'm the Technology Integration Specialist at the ARIS Institute here on the campus of Lipscomb. And I'm so glad that you're here today. And Nearpod is something that I'm really, really excited about. And when you leave here, I'm really hoping you'll be excited about it too. Okay? Now, Nearpod is an app for the iPad. However, the great thing about it that I'm really excited about is that recently they upgraded how it works so that you can access it through any web browser or any app. It can be, the students can access it through iPad, iPhone, iPod Touch, or any web browser on any platform. So I think that's great that they've done that because they're going to reach a wider audience. There'll be more people using this because of that. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by getting you into this. Now I've given you a handout, and that's really mainly for you to remember how you got into it when you go home, right? So when you go to things like this and people share about it, you get really excited, and then you go home and say, now what did they say? I don't know if anybody else does that, but I do that sometimes. So I gave you a handout so you would be able to remember that. So the first thing you can do, if you have the app on your mobile device, you can just simply go into the Nearpod app. If you do not, probably the easiest thing for now is going to be to go through your browser and go to nearpod.com/web. nearpod.com/web. Oh, you still can't see that. Now, when you get there, just kind of wave at me if you need me to slow down, by the way. When you get there, you're gonna have two options: sign in, or it'll have student PIN. Go ahead, and you're going to be a student this morning. So put in this PIN number that's up here, RTZOV. RTZOV. Okay, what did you get when you did that?
Downloading presentation.
Downloading presentation. So it does take some downloading. So when you use this in the classroom, you want to build a little bit of time in for them to get it up on their device, right? Or if you have iPad carts, what you want to do is you want to have the iPads prepped ahead of time so they're already on the presentation. So you're not using valuable class time. All right. Yes, RTZOV. You're getting a what? Let me look.
It requires flash.
Okay, so okay. If you go through the web, that might happen. So it might be, if you want to try to download this, this is the app you want to use right there. Yeah. Yeah, it is a free app. And this is free to use in schools, okay? So you can get a premium version, but the basic stuff is free. All right, so let's kind of go ahead and work our way through this so you can see how this works. You guys are in a student's. What you're seeing up on the screen is the teacher view, which is different from the student view. And you'll also see that down here at the bottom, across that bottom, I can see what the next slides are in my Nearpod presentation. So I'm going to go ahead and move through this. And if you're on the presentation, you'll notice there's a little delay from when I do it to when it shows up on your device. That's all because of Wi-Fi, right? Okay, so there is that little bit of delay. Okay? Now, those of you who are on it, has it come up to something different for you? Okay, we're hoping our Wi-Fi is working this morning. Does anybody see anything different? No? Nice.
I'm fine.
Yeah. Yeah. So here's what happens is it always puts in a screen that asks for the kid's name. It'll ask for their name. It'll ask for an ID. They don't have to put in an ID. I think we're having network issues right now.
So the ideal is they're going to see your presentation.
They see your presentation on their device. So I'm showing the teacher part up to you here. I would not do that. I would not be projecting that in a class with kids, right? Okay? Okay, so what's it say?
I think it's the network is.
Yeah,
the network's overloaded. Well, upstairs, my Twitter wasn't.
Okay. So, okay.
To boost me on Saturday.
So you guys have got that. So what happens is, like my iPad's even telling me that the network connections are poor. So I don't know what that's about. So here's one thing. Here's one thing that's real, right? Anytime you use something like this, you always need a plan B or a plan C, or right? Because the reality is the, oh, something came up. Oh, it came back to the, did you do it back?
I just refreshed.
Oh, yeah, and it took me out. Okay. Okay, let's try this. On your paper, I have made this presentation to be part of Nearpod homework, which basically means it can be available to anybody beyond the time of this presentation. And so in the student pin, if you can go back from where you are, excuse me, and in the student pin, which on page 2, type in this one, FRBNW. Let's see if we can have that come up.
FRBNW?
Yes, it's on page 2 in your handout.
I do not get a handout.
Okay. What? That is about FR. And that's not working.
It's telling us it's invalid.
Yeah, it's telling me that too. Nice. So let's do this. And this one is YPTQM. So let me put that up on the screen big.
Which one do you want us to use?
Let's use this one, since that other one was coming up invalid. YPTQM. Let's try that one. Okay, does it, anybody there that sees what my screen?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so from here it says swipe to begin. So on the iPad you would obviously just swipe. Because it's in Nearpod homework, now this presentation will run at your command. When you do a Nearpod live, then you're controlling what the kids see. Okay, so that's the difference there. Again, it's always going to ask you for the name and ID number. You don't have to put in ID number. I highly encourage you to have kids put in their name. However you want to do it, and those naming protocols you probably need to go over with them. So you probably need to explain to them. So the great thing about this is, the first question is, have you used Nearpod before? Yes or no? So you can actually choose your answer right there and click submit. So it has these kinds of interactive tools built within Nearpod. What do you most want to learn about Nearpod? So you can type in your answer there and then hit submit. You can also put static slides like this is. And this takes you through and shows you all the things you can do with Nearpod. You can engage your students, create interactive presentations, do quick assessments. And this is actually a video. So you can embed video within this.
This program has allowed me to bring in a whole.
And your students actually can control that. So let's say you have a video that provides a lot of information for them. They can actually go back and they can listen to it again. As long as, if you're doing a live presentation, you're on that same video slide, then they can manipulate it, right? It does work with different platforms, so iOS, the Android, the web, which is brand new, by the way, to it. And they can be viewed in different locations. They can be self-paced or it can be synchronized, just like we just talked about.
Getting started with your Nearpod experience.
So this is going to take you through, and you're going to be able to access this later
Homework feature.
with these videos. You can do polls, question and answers, draw-its. I love draw-its because what it allows the kids to do is you can put something as a background, and then the kids can do the whole matching thing on their iPads. If young children, you know, for them to be able to draw the letters that go with the letter sounds, that sort of thing, you can do all of that within it. It's really super cool. I love the draw it board. Quizzes you can do. Yes?
What is the learning curve for teachers to get it set up?
For teachers to get it set up. That's a great question. One of the great things about Nearpod is there are Nearpod presentations already in what they call their store. Now don't get nervous, because just because it says store does not mean they cost. A lot of the Nearpod presentations in there are free. I don't know if you've heard about Learn Zillions. Have you heard about that site? Okay, well they're putting together lots of different Common Core aligned lessons, and they tell you which Common Core standards these lessons go with. And they have the interactive elements in there for the kids. So it's great to be able to utilize it for that. I will tell you, however, if all you do is upload your PowerPoint to this and talk at the kids, then you're really missing the boat on this. Because the real value, the real power to this is that you are engaging the students, you are building informative assessments so you can know what the kids are actually getting as you're working with them. And so it's really getting at that very rich type of learning. Now, you can also have kids interact with each other as they're doing this. It doesn't have to be an individual thing. So you can have one iPad per group, and you can have them collaborating on the different things. So really think about this in different ways, building in those interactive elements, building in those assessment pieces, especially formative assessments. But I love the fact that there are resources already that are built out there that you can use. Let's say you like most of this lesson, but not the last part. You can customize that Nearpod presentation for yourself. You copy it, take things out, put your own stuff in, however you want to do it. Pretty cool. And I think I'm about out of time. Is that right? Am I out of time? Or am I good? Okay, so our polls. So here's like, what's your favorite place on earth? So you would just type in an answer to that and hit submit. You can also have the kids, choose what's your favorite color, and they choose from a list. So it's up to you to the kind of question. You've got quizzes, which are more than one questions, and there are different kinds of questions that you can do. Yes?
Sorry.
Uh-huh.
On the part where you were doing the multiple choice.
Yes.
Is there an option where it can be read to the students? Can you add that feature?
Not within Nearpod itself, but you and I both know that there are things on the Mac computers in particular and the iPads that will do that very well for you, whatever's on the screen.
I didn't know that.
Oh, okay. Well, they do. There are things that within those tools, but it's not built within Nearpod.
Okay. Special modification when the test has to be read to them, if you can put it in.
Exactly. Right. So I know that we had a little rough start on this. I'm hoping it gives you an idea of what this tool could do. And again, just like everybody has said, it's really about those learning goals out there. And this could be a tool to help you work with your kids so they reach those learning goals. Great. But it's not a tool to say, well, now we're going to do Nearpod because we're going to do Nearpod, right? Thanks for coming. I've got more handouts over here if anybody wants to grab one. I hope you got your questions answered. If not, come see me.